fastest show in sports.
Greetings, true believers, and welcome back into the fastest show in sports. I am your host. I am your ringmaster, Ed Berliner. Thank you so much for joining us. As usual, we have a long way to go and a short time to get there. I go away for one lousy show, and the entire world goes to hell. Everything goes higgledy-piggledy. We now have a tremendous amount to do. Leading off, college football, and the other shoe has finally dropped just when you knew it would.
This all comes after Sunday's firing of Tiger head football coach Brian Kelly. And joining me now with more details on all of this, sports director Doug Mouton. Doug, what a dramatic day.
It has been a whirlwind few days from Saturday's loss to Texas A&M to everything that has happened up until today. And yes, LSU says Scott Woodward and the school agreed to part ways, and Woodward sent out a letter tonight to the LSU fan base. He's a Baton Rouge native and an LSU alum. Verge Ausberry is now the interim athletic director. This is Ausberry and Woodward together. Ausberry also an LSU alum. He's worked at the school for more than 30 years. Woodward hired 3 coaches, Jay Johnson in baseball, Kim Mulkey in women's basketball, and Jay Clark in gymnastics, who combined to win 4 national championships in his tenure. But that contract with Brian Kelly and the $54 million buyout ultimately led to this. Woodward, by the way, has a $6.7 million buyout in his contract, which LSU is expected to pay. Devin, it has been a whirlwind few days.
Wow, certainly. And what about the search for head coach? What could this do to that?
Well, that's the really big question right now, Devin. Does the governor getting involved and everything that's happened from a national perspective, does LSU just look like chaos right now? And if so, does that take them out of the running for some of the big-time coaches? LSU is going to have to get its house in order really quick if they want to be players for the bigger name candidates right now. And that is a big question right now.
Scott Woodward is out as athletic director at LSU. What a shock. They agreed that he would go. I don't think there was much agreeance going on in there. I think it was, hey, Scott, come here. Sorry to bother you, but you're fired. I mean, everybody knew this was coming sooner or later. It had to happen. But what it has done is create the single most dysfunctional athletic administration in college athletics today. Yes, I mean worse than what's been going on at UCLA. It's far and above. LSU is now screwed, blued, and tattooed when it comes to anybody wanting to actually go there. Now think about this for the moment here. You have other coaches out there who want great jobs. I mean, really, you need a big-time coach at this point for LSU. So what do? You say, hey, come on to LSU. We're in the SEC. We have a great chance to win the national championship. We've got billion-dollar boosters who will give you whatever amount of money that you possibly could imagine. However, we've got a governor standing over here who basically makes it his business to decide who leads and who does not lead. Would you want to go to work for this shitstorm? I think not. I mean, all of a sudden they're talking about at LSU how, maybe a great name coach will come in here. There's no reason to want it. LSU is a freaking disaster. It's just a swamp at this point to walk into, and very few coaches, I believe, will want to do it. Now, are they going to find somebody? Sure they will. The money is intimidating to look at when you think about how much cash they'll dish out. And oh yeah, by the way, we'll talk about this, and when you do get down to the whole buyout issue, do you really think a coach of any repute whatsoever is going to walk into LSU and say, no, I don't think I need a big buyout. No, it's okay. You can fire me anytime you want, and I'll just take my money and I'll go home. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, massive amounts of steaming, swampy bullshit on that one. Because any coach who comes in now is going to want an even bigger buyout than before. So then you're going to have people getting involved like the Louisiana state government who are going to say, we don't want you to go ahead and get big buyouts because it's all on the taxpayers' shoulders, which again is complete and utter bullshit. And you think somebody's going to say that, okay, I'll go ahead and take it. No, you won't. They won't get the big coaches if that's the attitude that they take. Scott Woodward had his issues. There's no doubt about it. But look, when Scott Woodward hired Jimbo Fisher to come be the head coach at Texas A&M, Jimbo Fisher was a hot commodity. A lot of people wanted him even after some of the issues that cropped up at Florida State. He was a guy they wanted. When Brian Kelly was sitting out there coming from Notre Dame, are you kidding? This is the guy we need to get in here. He, again, was an attractive coach. So it's not as if all of a sudden Woodward came out and said, let's hire a blithering idiot to coach our football team. No, he got the people who at the time were the attractive coaches. And right now we've got a lot of those as well. A lot of head coaches, a lot of assistant coaches. And some of them may not be the right fit for LSU. It is exceptionally possible that a really good coach can walk into LSU and just be swallowed up by the nonsense and never come close to touching a national championship. It happens. Things are different now in the NIL, the transfer portal era, and the fact that players are getting paid. It's not all that easy anymore to do this. It's a hell of a lot more difficult to create a winner than it was before. And with the governmental interference at LSU, do you think somebody's really going to want to get involved? Think about that for a second. Also, consider this if you will. Woodward brought in coaches that had won 4 national titles. All right, it's not as if he just went out and hired idiots. He actually brought in some decent head coaches at one time. But those 4 national titles did not come in football. Football rules the roost at every single college. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Duke or North Carolina thinking about basketball. Football is where the money is right now. And if you can't win in football, you're out. So it's not like Woodward just came in and hired blithering idiots. He hired good people to come in and win national championships. But Brian Kelly was unable to do it in college football because of all the interference. Maybe he couldn't bring the right players in. Maybe a lot of those players in the current transfer portal just decided, by looking at LSU, I don't want to play there. I'm going to Louisiana. I don't want to sit in the swamps. My career will be dead there. Let me go ahead and take a chance on maybe going to Miami or Alabama or Ole Miss, someplace where there is some sort of a background of success that's going on there right now. Because remember, all of these players, it doesn't make a difference who they are. They're coming in and they're looking at the money. Where can I make the most money? What school can help me become a National Football League superstar, which is about a 1 in a 5 billion chance, but they all believe they're going to be stars? And which one will set me up for the rest of my life so I can kick back on my ass and not do a damn thing and just earn money off my investments? That's what the smart ones are saying. The dumb ones are out there saying, hey, I'll make a few bucks and I'll be happy. But that's the way things are right now in college athletics. It's not that easy. And if LSU thinks they're all of a sudden going to put together this big committee, if you will, and go out and find a coach who wants to come coach at LSU, yes, they're going to find people who will want to come to LSU. There's no question about it. But it may not be one of these big-time coaches, if you will, because simply put, they don't want to get involved in the nonsense that goes on at LSU. Oh, and by the way, speaking of the nonsense that goes on at LSU,
we are not going down a failed path. And I wanted to tell you something. This is a pattern. The guy that's here now that wrote that contract cost Texas A&M $70-something million. Right now, we got a $53 million liability. We are not doing that again. And you know what? I believe that we're going to find a great coach. I mean, maybe we'll let President Trump pick it. He loves winners. You know, I'm not going to be picking the next coach. But I can promise you, we're going to pick a coach, and we're going to make sure that that coach is successful. And we're going to make sure that he's compensated properly. And we're going to put metrics on it. Because I'm tired of rewarding failure in this country and then leaving the taxpayers on the foot, to foot the bill. So, yeah, I absolutely. Who's that? No. I can tell you right now, Scott Woodward is not selecting the next coach. Hell, I'll let Donald Trump select it before I let him do it. I don't know, but the Board of Supervisors is going to come up with a committee, and they're going to go find us a coach.
This bulbous bullshitter, the governor of Louisiana, Jeff Landry, you knew when he made those statements that Woodward was out. I mean, he made it very emphatically that he was not going to make the selection, and the athletic director always makes the selection. But when it comes to this clown getting involved and basically now running, if you will, or at least overseeing what's going to happen at LSU, he's going to let Donald Trump make the decision? Holy God, save us all. I mean, could there be anything more to make this university just drown in the swamps of Louisiana? I mean, that's how unbelievably idiotic this numbskull is, this governor who believes that he has got the power to do this and he is going to change everything. First of all, he's all wrong. He's completely wrong in so many things that he said. The state of Louisiana and the taxpayers of Louisiana are not on the hook for the buyout money that Brian Kelly is going to get. Not a dime. Nothing. Zero. Nada. That's how much he looked into this. That money comes from the big-time boosters, the billion-dollar boosters at LSU, and it comes at their discretion. They'll pay it because they agreed to it. They signed the contract. They basically let Woodward go ahead and execute the contract. So they're going to wind up paying Kelly his money, and Kelly can sit back and relax for the rest of his life. And it's not his fault. It's not Kelly's fault he gets paid millions of dollars. The university wanted him. They agreed to the contract. And Kelly said, okay, you can pay me 100, 300, 400, 50 million, 70 million, whatever it is, and I'll be very happy. Maybe I'll go out and coach again. Maybe I won't. But it makes no difference to him right now. Woodward was out as soon as Landry opened his mouth. And I got to tell you, I have a political side of me as well that does a lot of this on a show called The Hard Line. But when I heard this guy talk, I'm sitting there mouth agape that anybody, any elected official whatsoever, could possibly, in any sense, be this incredibly stupid and wrong.
Because wait. I want to hold on. One real quick thing on that. Because here's what y'all reporters need to do. Y'all need to start looking at who represents all these people. Like these agents. You know what's interesting? If I'm not mistaken, Woodward's agent, Kelly's agent, the Texas A&M, they're all the same agent. Like you realize if I would be, I don't know how many sports writers we got here today? Just you. We should have a bunch. Okay? Like this is ridiculous. Lawyers would be disbarred for the way these agents act and the way they're able to represent. In fact, there's no doubt, they may even represent some of the players now. Like it's really time for the NCAA to put on some guardrails in college sports. Because, and it's fine, we don't need the guardrails. If big billionaires want to spend all that kind of money, no problem. But if I got to go find $53 million from Kevin, it's not going to be a pleasant conversation. I'm just telling you, I know. And I think that that's important as well. Y'all should start looking into that.
Yeah, we're doing that as a matter of fact. We're looking into it. He got everything wrong. Those three gentlemen don't have the same agent. Scott Woodward has no agent. And the others are two entirely different agents whatsoever. So he's just making shit up to get out there, and hopefully the idiots will fall for it. And I guarantee you, there are those idiots in Louisiana and other parts of the country who root for LSU who are falling for everything this nabobbing numbskull is spitting out there. I mean, it's all just lies and bullshit. But then again, there are certain people in this country right now from certain political parties who believe in a level of bullshit will get them just about anything they want. And in many cases, they're right. But let's get away from that for a moment and let's just stick to sports for a second here. This guy's an idiot. A raging Cajun cockery of idiocy that just has no clue what he's talking about, no clue what he's saying, no clue of any background whatsoever. And when he talks about the NCAA getting involved in guardrails, who the hell are you kidding? He doesn't even know what's going on in college athletics right now that basically makes the NCAA as completely useless as a seventh big toe. But this is what's involved right now. This governor has nothing better to do with his time than decide what's going to happen to a college football team, which tells you again how out of whack things are in Louisiana. Because here's a guy who's taking time out of a major press conference to discuss the fact that I'm going to make sure Scott Woodward doesn't make the call, and we're going to get the right guy to make the call. Have the people in Louisiana looked at what's going on in this state? I mean, check out this graphic from U.S. News and World Report. Louisiana, overall, out of 50 states in the United States, ranks 50th. They're dead last. It's the worst place to live in America. Crime and corrections, dead last. Economy, dead last. Education, 46th out of 50. Fiscal stability, 46th out of 50. Healthcare, 44th out of 50. Infrastructure, 48th out of 50. Natural environment, 49th out of 50. And for mere opportunity to get involved at something in the state for people to actually be able to succeed, 46th. Louisiana is, according to every single statistic that's out there, and I don't want people to get upset and think that I'm making this personal, but thanks to a governor like this clown, Louisiana's a shithole. And the problem with it is the people of Louisiana don't realize it. You've handed the reins of power over to this mysticulating moron here who gets everything wrong, who lies flat out to you, who decides that instead of worrying about the people of Louisiana, the people that he's charged to care for, he is going to worry more about a damn football coach. A football coach of a college football team, no less. He's going to worry more about that and make sure that a guy gets fired and we bring in a coach and we set metrics for the coach. What do you mean metrics for the coach? You're going to try that? Go up to a major college football coach and say, by the way, you're going to have to win 8 games the first season. Second season, you're going to have to win 9. And by the third season, you got to win us a national championship. Or the contract's off, you get paid nothing, and you're fired. Coach sits back and goes, would you like me to roll up the middle finger right now and let you see this? I'm not coming to work here. There's a million other places I can go where I can have autonomy and I can actually put together a football program that might actually work instead of the disaster you put together here. I mean, LSU has been stripped bare of any notion whatsoever that this is a place where anybody would want to work. And again, I'm not being personal to the people of Louisiana. I have a lot of friends from Louisiana, and I like going to New Orleans every now and then. But you are living in a shithole thanks to the governor of the state who's more concerned about being involved in the selection of a head coach for college football than he is concerned about the welfare of the people who live in the dead last state in America. 50th out of 50 by the time the average comes in. For everything across the board. So pay attention, please, to these idiots, these numbskulls, these wankers who are in here telling you all these lies and bullshit propaganda about everything they can do. This guy has just made it worse to live in Louisiana. So what do you care about a football coach at this point? Really? So, meantime, staying in college football, kids, meantime, LSU has become now the nexus for clickbait idiocy. I mean, last time we talked, it was obviously the University of Florida and Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. But now, are you kidding? Holy Weezers! The stuff that's coming out now, the guesswork, the complete flights of fancy that are out there. It's almost comical.
There's one gigantic Mount Rushmore-sized name that lingers. And silly as it may sound, there may actually be a path to getting Nick Saban to return to LSU. Now, I want to be very clear as we start. I'm not coming at this with some false pretense. I'm not telling you it's likely to happen. I don't believe it is likely to happen. As a matter of fact, the betting odds for Nick Saban to be the next coach at LSU are plus 7,500, meaning you'd have to bet $7,500 to win $100. So this is one of the longest of long shots out there. But whenever the conversations that are being had around Nick are being had, it's at least worth discussing here about how it could potentially look. Okay, so I don't want it to come across with some false pretense where you think I'm pitching that Nick Saban's going to be the coach. I'm not saying that, but I will discuss this coaching search from every possibility. There's enough people asking about Saban, and I can lay out a path for you how this could work, and we'll talk about it.
No, it's not worth discussing. Not at all. It's all just rumor, innuendo, and bullshit from social media about Nick Saban maybe coming to be the new head coach at LSU. Are you kidding? This is all just blowhard babble and nothing more. But now all of a sudden, and this is getting traction. That's the thing about it. There are people believing that Nick Saban may actually come to LSU. when Nick Saban hasn't made any indications of it. Nick Saban is making a tremendous amount of money, basically sitting there talking about college football. He's out of the wars right now. He's won his national championships. What the hell does he have to do? He's got hundreds and millions of dollars stashed away. And he gets paid a real good amount to be on television. There is no desire. See, and this is something else. I could sit here and tell you that I've been told, quite frankly, there is absolutely no desire by Nick Saban to be the head coach of any college football team at this point. Zero, none, nada. That's it. Walk away. But right now, you've got these clickbait artists who are out there saying, ooh, I don't want you to think that I'm trying to tell you that there's going to be anything that'll happen. But let's talk for the next 17 minutes and go ahead, hit that subscribe button and make sure that you clickbait us up and get us at least a couple of 100,000 views here, because we're talking about complete and absolute nonsense that is never going to happen. It's not going to happen. People need to spend a little more time thinking about what might happen. I mean, look, that's what we're in the business for. We're in the business to lay down commentary and opinion and things that may or may not happen. But when it comes to these ridiculous, out-of-worldly, alien thoughts and processes about what might happen, stop! Stop! Save yourself! Save your sanity. Come here, okay? Be here. Be on this show. You don't hear bullshit over and over again. Why? Because I can't stand it. It's unnecessary. So to even think for a moment that Nick Saban might be coming to LSU, look, I'll give the guy credit. I mean, he's very well spoken about it, and he says over and over again, I don't want you to think that I'm saying this is going to happen. Then why bring it up? You bring it up because there's somebody who started a rumor somewhere, and the rumor gains traction, and you got people going, we want Nick Saban as the head coach at LSU. Meantime, Nick Saban is sitting back going, I think I'll make another commercial. Yeah, another commercial. That's another $500,000 for my face and my voice. And let's not go past this now. I don't believe I'm doing this. But I will do it just one time. Why would Nick Saban want to become head coach at the most dysfunctional athletic program in major college athletics? Why would he want to take a chance at having to be run and told to do anything by an idiot governor who has no clue what he's talking about? Why would he want to then move to Louisiana or live in Louisiana part-time in what is now, thanks to that governor and the administration of the state of Louisiana, the worst state in the nation to live in? It has been proven. Why would he want that? And why would he want any individual to say, we're going to set metrics, we're going to make sure you don't get a big buyout, bite me? And Nick Saban is out the door. And you couldn't blame him. There is no reason for him to want to come there. But hey, you got to do something. You got to make something run up that 25 minutes on the scale. And you got to get people talking about you. And you got to get the clickbait. Look, I tell you this. Subscribe to this channel. You know why? Because there's no nonsense. I will never lie to you. I will never throw rumor at you. I will never take any chance whatsoever to make you look foolish, because I've been doing this too long. I have too good a reputation. And I also am a guy who's I'm in favor of the fans. So you shouldn't have to go through this. So stop believing the nonsense about Nick Saban. It is complete bullshit. Every single time. Related to that, and I mentioned Lane Kiffin a couple of minutes ago. Let's get back to the University of Florida for a minute, Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. These are the type of comments that are out there right now about Lane Kiffin coming to the University of Florida. Listen up.
That's what I'm hearing, and I think he wants this job too. Multiple things that I have heard that makes me believe that he is at the very least listening. And I think sources aside or anything like that, think about this. On Saturday, he had the opportunity to meet with his team and talk about this rumor. He said he wanted to address it head on. It's not something he normally does. You know what he could have done? He could have signed the frickin' extension. You know what he didn't do? Sign the extension, which makes you know, at the very least, this is a conversation that is taking place. Because you want all the outside noise to stop, you sign it. And guess what goes away? all the outside noise. None of us are barely even talking about Cignetti involved in this anymore because he signed his extension. So Lane and Lane alone could make this story go away, and he is choosing not to.
Just another babbling boo-boos out there getting thousands of hits and people actually sitting there watching this and listening to her. She didn't say anything that anybody didn't know already. Absolutely nothing. It's all just the same rumor, innuendo, and propaganda that's been out there, and this is the kind of stuff people fall for. Okay? Don't fall for it. She just wants to hear herself. She wants to put herself on camera. She wants to make everybody think that she's an expert and she's an analyst. Oh, come on. It's some of the most unprofessional bullshit that's out there in the world. And this stuff flies. There are people out there who are believing this stuff. Is Lane Kiffin listening? I'm sure he's going to. Might Lane Kiffin become head coach of Florida? Maybe. Might Lane Kiffin stay at Ole Miss? Could be. Might Lane Kiffin actually sit back, take his money, go home, and go fishing for the rest of his life? Who knows? But as I look over social media and I see all these experts and analysts and opinionators and commentators and people out there who think they know what's going on, you don't know shit from Shinola, and the Shinola people are pissed because they're tired of being used as a statement like that. You know nothing, honey. These people don't know anything whatsoever. They're just babbling to babble. That's why I really just want to give you the facts on this. Yes, Lane Kiffin could do all this, but we don't know. Season's ongoing right now. Kiffin might be actually in the play for a national championship. Think about that for a minute. Lane Kiffin could have Ole Miss on the verge of a national championship. I mean, it's possible. He's going to make the playoff unless something outrageous happens. And anything can happen when you get into the playoff system. Anything can happen. Mistakes happen. Great moments happen. Turnovers, whatever you want to call it. He could actually get there. And what would it do if Ole Miss got to the national championship game? He can write his ticket. He can write his ticket now, no matter where he wants to go. But the point of the matter is, people, please, I'm begging you, please, I'm begging you, like I have before, please stop falling for the nonsense. Please stop going to these social media sites made up of these people who are just looking into the camera from their bedroom, and they're desperate to go ahead and put something out there and make you think that they actually know what they're talking about because they desperately need to be recognized by somebody. Please stop. Save yourself. I can't stop. It's just, I have to sit and watch this stuff every single day, and I'm astounded by some of the nabobbery that I see out there, some of the complete and utter intricate idiocies that are being passed by these boobs and babblers and blabblers and all this crap back and forth. I'm better now. I'm glad I got that out of the way. Moving on. National Football League. I know I've gotten a lot of mail from people who are saying, Ed, believe it or not, I've gotten a lot of mail from people saying, Ed, stop talking about the Miami Dolphins. I've also gotten a lot of mail from people saying, Ed, please talk about the Miami Dolphins. And the people who are coming in saying, let's talk about it, are saying that we are the worst team in the National Football League. And there is absolutely no doubt about it whatsoever. This is the single biggest dumpster fire franchise in the National Football League right now, bar none. Because after a home game on a Thursday night, when they get embarrassed by the Baltimore Ravens, this, ladies and gentlemen, is the brilliant treatise from their leader that makes it all seem worthwhile. At one time or another, he can make it happen.
Mike, how do you explain how it goes sideways this way just a mere 4 days after the team played so well in Atlanta?
$1 million question there. I think we came to play. I think there was, I think it was obvious in the first half that, our team could play toe-to-toe, and we felt very good about, our plan going in. And and the way guys came out. But the it's pretty simple. The football confidence, created last week. But the bottom line is you have to cross your T's and dot your I's in the National Football League, or you get made pay. So it's a very, very disappointing, and unfortunately we're gonna have to sit on that disappointment for 10 days. I know the locker room would like to go play another Thursday night game in 4 days to get this bad taste out of their mouth, but these are the things that will constantly occur in the National Football League. You won't like the results if you have those major elements minus in the red zone and minus in turnovers. It's going to be a long day.
Look, I've been to enough of these press conferences where I know the cliches rule. Don Shula used to come out and basically give what was the same diatribe over and over again. Bill Belichick did exactly the same thing after every single game and showed no emotion whatsoever. But Mike McDaniel is in so far over his head, I'm beginning to feel sorry for this guy. Look, I'm sure he's a nice man. He never stole a freight train. But in that one little clip space right there, 26 ums and ahs, uhs. He can't get out a cogent sentence. He doesn't look you in the eye. He probably doesn't look the players in the eye. This guy has a zero level of leadership, and the Miami Dolphins showed it in their game against the Ravens. They gave up. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again because now it's even more obvious than ever before. The Miami Dolphins have completely surrendered this season. I mean, yeah, okay, they showed up against an Atlanta Falcons team that wasn't that good to begin with. And it was a spurt. We got to come out. Okay, we're going to get big time right now. We're getting hammered. Let's go out there. Let's show them what we can do. Let's show the team that we're worth the money. And you're still maybe going to pay me for next season. Or let me at least get out there and show other teams what I can do so that when I get out of this mess, that I can actually go to a franchise that knows how to create a winner and maybe even contend for a championship. Maybe even just barely get into the playoffs. And then you come up to this game on a Thursday night. It was the worst performance I have ever seen from a National Football League team in decades. I can't remember a game where I saw a team play so badly for an entire game. Sure, you have ebbs and flows in the game where things happen, but this was disgustingly bad. And McDaniel is the reason why. He's lost control of this franchise. Nobody respects the guy anymore. But just to listen to the excuses come out over and over again, it's gotten old. Dolphins fans don't deserve this. I mean, there's people sitting in the stands right now that have the bags on their heads. And I cannot for the life of me understand how any fan of this franchise would spend another dime to go to the game. Why? Why? You want to sit there and you want to be humiliated? You want to be embarrassed? You want to be part of being in the crowd and paying the money for this disaster of a franchise that this owner, this general manager, this coach has handed, these players have handed you? I mean, do you really want to waste your money that bad? When it comes down to money, which leads us to the next point here, other than just sitting here talking about how bad the Dolphins are. But the Miami Dolphins recently said, before their embarrassing loss to the Ravens, that they would not be raising ticket prices for 2026. Huzzah! With what they put on the field right now, how could you look anybody in the eye and say, we're going to raise your ticket prices? But that brings us to an issue here regarding the fans. And again, I've told you over and over again, I'm a fan guy. I root for the fans. I want the fans to get their money's worth. I want the fans to get the ability to root, cheer, and have a good time. But as detailed in this report, the National Football League is getting out of hand when it comes down to ticket prices.
This season, the Lions are reaching for the sky. Turns out, so are tickets for the 2025 season.
I was a little bit kind of, just because this year they raised my ticket prices 120%, and now another 20-some%. That's kind of, I get it. We're doing really well.
George Nikolai and his partner remember the days of being faithful season ticket holders during the Lions' winless season. In fact, another fan said not once did they consider dropping their tickets when the team was 0-16. So they were shocked to see next year's tickets jump by 38% on top of the roughly 40% from last year. For some fans, like the Crack Man, they say this is the season they've dreamt about for years.
This is something I've never seen in my lifetime. And it is what it is. You want to enjoy it, pay the price.
In other words, he believes winning costs something. Top-tier talent requires top dollar. Nikolai gets it. Just hard to accept.
The team looks great. Downtown looks great. But you have to be kind of somewhat good to all the people that hung around at the beginning when it wasn't doing so great.
And check this out. Sunday's game here at Ford Field against the Bills are the highest price tickets so far in the NFL season. The cheapest tickets, we're talking about $350 on the secondary market. Oh, by the way, that's standing room only.
You got to admit, there's nothing quite so perfect as seeing a giddy reporter get on a Zoom call with someone she's interviewing, and the guy's nickname is Crackman. It's got to be one of the best interviews I've ever seen, simply just because of the guy's nickname, nothing else. And the way she looks and goes, how cute, I'm interviewing the Crackman. This is out of hand. A 40% increase in Detroit last year, a 38% increase coming up now, and another increase coming. This is getting ridiculous. The National Football League does not need to continue to raise ticket prices like they have in Detroit, $350 for one standing room seat. They don't have to continue to raise these ticket prices at these exorbitant amounts just to go ahead and make a profit and make the team and keep the team competitive. That's bullshit. Every National Football League team makes a wealth of money from the league, from sponsors, from network television deals, from what are now basically platform deals such as YouTube, Amazon, things along these lines. They're making absolute billions of dollars. If you took a stadium today, filled it, let's take a Detroit or a Miami or a San Francisco, if you took the team for one game and gave every single seat away, zero charge to walk in that stadium for that one game, it would not make a ripple, a noticeable ripple in the profit and loss statement for that team. It's all just additional money that they make. It's greed. But see, the National Football League has you by the short hairs because they know that you're going to continue to pay the money. When they suck, you're going to say, well, gee, I can't be without my football, and my favorite team's got to get better sooner or later, so I got to stick in there, and I got to at least give it a try. You're going to stay another year. And then when they suck the next year, oh, man, I've got these tickets. I've had them now for 15 years, and I'll never get good seats like this again. I got to stay there. They got you. They got you by the neck, and they're just going to go ahead and keep squeezing you because they know that you're suckers. And that's not a personal... Look, I'm not trying to personally insult anybody, but they know you're suckers. They know that you're going to fall for it. They know that you're going to pay the money. So what recourse do you have? It's like in Miami, where the Dolphins say they're not going to raise season ticket prices for 2026. And you say, well, of course, because they stink this year. That doesn't mean anything. It's just PR. That's all it is. Teams have raised ticket prices before when the teams have stunk the year before, and they haven't even thought twice about it. They're not going to lose anybody. The Dolphins do it just to say, well, we know we're having problems, so we're going to keep the ticket prices at the stupidly exorbitant rate that they currently are, and we're not going to charge you anymore. But I'll tell you what, the minute we get a new coach in here, the minute we get a new defense and a new offense, and everything rolls, and we're winning 2 years in a row, you better believe that those ticket prices are going up again because we know you're suckers. You're going to pay for it. You won't care. It's like the attitude of these people who go, well, I've been here a long time, and I really got to go to the games, and I got nothing more to do, and I have to continue to be a fan. What is the cost, people? Where does it become too much? That's my question. Look, we are a nation in desperate straits right now when it comes to the economy and so many people who can't feed their kids, people who can't feed themselves, people who can't make their rents, their mortgage payments, people who are trying to make it day by day, people who are literally one paycheck away from having to get some kind of social assistance in order to be able to just live. And meantime, we have people out there who are wealthy people who are spending their money how they want. You spend it however you want. But then there's, in between that, the fan that can't afford $350 tickets every week, but starts to save up, and I want to take my wife, my girlfriend, my husband, my boyfriend, my kids to the game, and they can't do it anymore because you can't just blow out $2,000-$3,000 to go to a game. That's food, that's gas, that's rent, that's insurance, that's health care, that's all these things. And look, I'm not trying to get overly political here, but I'm just trying to put this in some kind of a perspective here. It's not just the National Football League, but that's what we're talking about right now. It's a lot of other sports as well who continue to raise ticket prices, right on down to college athletics. But the National Football League is the biggest sport in the country right now. They run the roost. Everything runs around the NFL right now when it comes to money in sports. You can be a fan of another team, of another league, of another sport, but the NFL runs the country right now with the amazing amount of attention that they have and the money. What do you do? I mean, I can tell you from my perspective as a consumer, I don't go to as many games. I can afford it, but I don't want to. That money's got to go someplace else. I've got family to take care of. I've got things to do. I've got business to work on. I can't just do that. I'll sit and watch the game at home. I'll enjoy the game. I'll have a sub sandwich from the deli, and I'll get something. I'll have a couple of beers at home, and I'll enjoy it just as much without having to put up with the nonsense of going to the game. That's just me. You can spend your money however you want. I'm not telling you how to, but I'm just asking, when does it become too much? When does the gouging and the greed take over and destroy your love of a sport to keep you from going to the sport? Hey, those of you who got the money, do it. But that's not everybody. That's maybe about 10% of the fan base, maybe 15 if you're lucky, and I don't have stats to back it up. I'm just guessing off the top of my head. But the rest of those people can't afford to go to every game, and they're being hurt by it. But it's that loyalty. It's that I got to go. I've been going for years. It's my team. I love football. I love the Dolphins. I love Detroit. I love the Niners. I love the Cowboys. I love the Jets. So I've got to go to the games. But I wish the fans would boycott. I wish there would be a mass boycott for at least one game. Just don't go to the game. Don't spend money on the parking, on the concessions, on anything else. Don't go to the game. Show them that you have some worth, and they shouldn't be continuing to just blow these ticket prices over you. But it's not going to make any difference. And that's what I feel for in the fans. I wish a boycott would work, but it absolutely wouldn't. And that's the shame of it all. Moving on, the NBA betting scandal. Hey, look, here's the thing. If you want to know what really goes on when it comes to the NBA betting scandal and the mob and the mafia being involved, what do? Ask a guy who used to be in the mob and let him tell you what's going on.
How do they convince NBA stars to play ball, so to speak, here? You know, does the mafia reach out to these coaches and players? How's the connection made?
Well, yeah, they schmooze with them back and forth, get to know them, and then they give them ideas on what they could do and how they could pick up a lot of extra money. And the greed sends them in there. So I don't know. You know, they don't force them in, that's for sure. They come in very willingly. They're making bets as well. I'm sure that kid, he's supposed to make 13, 14, 15, 16 points per game. So to say a bet under 10, he's not going to make 10 points a game, you're going to get high odds. And what he does is purposely misses a couple of baskets, and then he fakes an injury. He don't come in. He's under 10. and they walk away. Everybody walks away with a lot of money. So it doesn't take a lot of convincing.
So let me ask you this. These guys got caught. Do you think it's going to continue?
Well, not the way it is. That's for sure. But I don't know how they get around some of these things. The biggest things is the coach. He's in the Hall of Fame. He'd probably be thrown out of the Hall of Fame. He'll probably never coach again. So he's going to be losing millions and millions of dollars. His career is over.
There is nothing like spending a couple of minutes with Sammy the Bull Gravano and not even asking him much about John Gotti, but asking him about how the mob is now involved. Look, the mafia has never gone away. The mafia has always been there. They got pushed out of the drug trade a long time ago. They got pushed out of the gambling trade and the policy slips a long time ago. But if you think they're gone, you're insane. They're just finding new ways to make money is all they're doing. But Sammy the Bull opens it up to another part of this whole gambling conversation in the NBA. These players are stupid. People like Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, and others who openly cheat, who openly flaunt the rules, who openly get involved in illegal gambling, they're stupid. Number one, because they know the rules, yet they believe they can get away with it. Because they have been entitled their entire lives, they have been treated as superstars from the time they were probably in high school. They believe they can get away with anything they want because basically they've not been involved in life at any kind of a level. Most people, by the time you reach high school, and then you get into college age, and then you move on into your 20s, your mid-20s, you have an idea, you have an intelligence factor of what life is like. These guys are stupid. They have none of that IQ about life because they have lived in a sports and athletic, a basketball bubble their entire lives. So they have no idea what goes on outside of it. They don't want to know. All they want to know is I play basketball, I shoot, I score, give me money. That's all they want. And that's all they know. So you have to realize from the first part that you're dealing with stupid people. Yeah. I'm going to catch a lot of heat from people going, how dare you call somebody stupid? I can do it because I can look at it and I can tell. Quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, duck. There you go, same thing. But along with being stupid, they're greedy. Most of these athletes have come from backgrounds where they didn't make a lot of money, maybe no money whatsoever. Maybe they were dirt poor. Maybe their parents had to give up absolutely everything to get them involved. Maybe they found a way to do it and they didn't make a dime. And now they're paid exorbitant amounts of money. But they believe, I want more. I need more. I got to have more. And even if they don't want more, and even if they're making millions of dollars and they want more, they want the action. That's what they need. I got to get involved in the gambling because I want the action. That's what Chauncey Billups did. He didn't have to be involved in an illegal gambling ring and bring people in to basically get fleeced. But he wanted it because it was action, is what it was, baby. And he got paid for it. And guys like Terry Rozier, they got paid for it. What did they get paid? Look, they're all making 7 figures at least. And what are they going to make for it? A few grand, $10,000, whatever it is. That's chump change. But it's that action. It's the thrill of knowing that I made extra money. I made that bet work. Those guys made money and I made money and they paid me something on the side. Hey, it's $1.95 outside of the $20 million that I make over here. But that's what I want. I want that money right now. They're stupid. They're greedy. They're entitled. And they don't give a shit about the game, about the legacy of the game, about the fans. They don't care about you. The only fan they care about is the one who's basically taken the prop bet that's going to make money that they're cheating for. They don't care. Listen to me. Understand this. Athletes like this who cheat the game, whether it's gambling, taking PEDs, whatever they do, they don't care about you, the fan. Walk away. As far as they're concerned, you're just there to watch them on your phones, on your TV, to pay the ticket prices, and to make them wealthy, to buy the goods that they sponsor, to buy the sneakers. That's all they care about. Is there a faction of the NBA players who do care about the fans? Yeah. I'm going to say 5% or less. Really. They care about the money that they can make and the action that they can get. So stop looking at these players as being someone that you need to maybe be sorry for. Don't be sorry for these guys. They don't care. Throw them in jail. Let them rot. Bring the full force of the federal government, local authorities on top of them, and bang them, baby. Put them away. Because the game doesn't need them. And not only that, but we're getting to the point where people are not trusting the games anymore, because that's what gambling does. It erodes that faith that you have in the game itself, that the game is being played honestly. It's not. Okay? There's a very good chance that when you watch a game tonight, whenever, there's a good chance, I'm not saying it happens, but there's a good chance that somebody is pulling a punch, that somebody is missing a shot, that somebody is taking a dive. It's all because of greed and entitlement. And that makes them unimaginably stupid, worthless, degenerate people. Just there. And for no reason for us to respect them. Moving on to the WNBA real quick. The WNBA has now decided to give it another 30 days in their collective bargaining agreement negotiations, which I predicted a month ago. I said this is going to go overtime, but it's a good thing because nobody's yelling at each other for a minute. They're actually looking at ways for everybody to make money. But the fans, you again, are being snow-jobbed into believing that everything here is absolutely terrible, that things are all going wrong, that we're making bad choices, that the league is fighting with each other, that the league, everybody is going nuts, everybody's screaming at each other. Everybody is having a moment where there's an explosion going on in the WNBA. There's not. This is the kind of nonsense that gets shoveled out on social media.
The WNBA is officially in chaos. Commissioner Kathy Engelberg and NBA boss Adam Silver are reportedly butting heads. Players are angry, owners are panicking, and the entire league's future may hang on one person, Caitlin Clark. And yes, the irony is painful. The same player who saved the league might now be the reason it tears itself apart. So who's actually losing control here? The tension between Kathy Engelberg and Adam Silver isn't new, but this time, it's exploding in public.
It is complete AI-generated bullshit. That whole script was written by AI. It was voiced by AI. It has absolutely not one shred of truth in it whatsoever. But the site that is on, that video itself got over 140,000 views. People, you're falling for this nonsense. None of that is true. Look, I'm going to give you the truth here, all right? I want you to listen closely, because I can tell you, without question, with the people I trust and the people I talk to, Kathy Engelberg and Adam Silver are not arguing with each other. They're not throwing things across the room at each other. They are completely on the same page. They want the players to make more money. They want the game to succeed. They want more fans in the seats. They want people buying more memorabilia. They want people buying more gewgaws. They want people going to the sponsors more often. They are together on this. Caitlin Clark is not involved in any of the discourse whatsoever. She is completely absolved from this, away from it. She's part of the players and the players union who want to be paid, but she's not out there making any waves. She's not out there trying to destroy the league management or make things difficult for them. Yes, there are players in the WNBA PA who are being, quite frankly, a little bit arrogant in all this. But that's what negotiations are for. That's what discussions are all about. That's why this takes time. The WNBA is a growing league that is flourishing right now. It is making money. For anybody to think even slightly that somebody doesn't want the players to make more money, they're insane. They're lying to you. It's clickbait. And that's what they're trying to push out there right now. Will everybody be happy with the new CBA? I doubt it. Because people believe, and again, there have been these memes out there that have people like Angel Reese supportedly saying, If you don't pay us like NBA players, then we're not going to play. Bullshit. Stop. Walk away from this. That's not what's happening. Get your sources, get your news, get your information from a legitimate source, like me. I've been doing this a long time. I don't deal in the nonsense and the propaganda. Stop going to these sites and falling for it. Because everything's not hunky-dory. It's not like everybody gets along at the bargaining table. But they gave themselves another 30 days because they're at an impasse, because they need more time. Good. Let them make more time. Nobody's walking out. And when we always bring up that phrase about a lockout, lockouts happen when there's no contract. If there's no contract, you can't come to the facility and play or practice because you don't work for the team technically anymore because there's no contract that is signed. So stop falling for the nonsense in this and believe for a moment that, yeah, WNBA is going to be just fine. Adam Silver hasn't canceled the 2026 season, as some of these memes have pointed out. They're not in a fist fight at the bargaining table. Well, maybe a little bit, because that's what usually happens at the bargaining table. But the WNBA is going to be fine. And I'll tell you right now, they're going to come to a contract agreement. And yeah, everybody's not going to get what they want. But the league is going to go on, and the league will continue to survive and thrive because smarter people will prevail. Moving on, last up. I have said many times over the years, many times have I said to friends, colleagues, whatever, that out of all the sports I've covered, no athlete is more honorable, more respected, more worth our admiration as people and athletes than those who play in the National Hockey League. And this is an example of why. Brad Marchand, two-time Stanley Cup champion, at the beginning of a season, the Panthers, the Florida Panthers, are not doing very well right now. He is one of their key players. But something happened in his personal life, and Marchand decided this is more important.
More than 1,000 people showed up to a Halifax minor hockey game on Wednesday night in support of a coach who lost his young daughter, including a local NHL superstar. 10-year-old Sela Panachi McCallum died last week after a courageous battle with cancer. Her father, J.P. McCallum, is the coach of the March and Mill Company Hunters in the local U18 Major League. And he's also a longtime friend of Florida Panthers forward and Hammonds Plains native Brad Marchand.
JP and his family have been very, very close friends. Mine and our friend group for 25 years. And you know, we've grown to be family. And it's obviously a very, very tragic time for their family, for all of us. And you know, we obviously want to be here to support each other.
Marchand filled in for McCallum behind the bench while his friend was with his family mourning the loss of Sela.
And she was a fighter. I mean, it wasn't going to slow her down. She had such a big heart, and she was so strong, and she had such an incredible group of friends and family around her. You know, and she lived life to the fullest, and she made a huge impact on my life, on my family's life.
The game was also a fundraiser for Sela's family, and people from all over the Halifax area came to show their support.
It's a generous example. It's a clear example of how Nova Scotians come together in short notice to help out, regardless if you're a hockey fan or not, regardless of your sports, or regardless if you even know them. There's people here that have reached out that don't even know them but are saddened by the whole thing.
Even with the NHL season well underway, Marchand says he didn't think twice about dropping everything so he could be here to support his longtime friend and his family.
I'm grateful the Panthers and the organization has been very supportive of. They basically just said go home and come back when you're ready. So, you know, I really appreciate that. Their understanding allowed me to come back and be here with the family and with all of our friends.
Sean says his friend has been there for him through all his big moments, both good and bad. So it was important for him to show up for the McCallum family when they needed it.
I want you to think about this for a moment. Here's a guy who's incredibly well paid, incredibly talented, very team-oriented. something happens to a friend and he says, I have to go. Didn't think twice. And the organization, the Florida Panthers, the team that pays him, the team that makes money off winning cups, the team that is right now a mini dynasty in the NHL, they let him go. They said, go, do what you need to do, come back when you're done. If it takes a few days, you miss a few games, go right ahead. No repercussions, nothing else. There is not another major sport in America that would have that kind of reaction. Why? I know it. There would be issues involved. Come back after a certain time. They wouldn't be as understanding. And not only that, but here's a tragedy that happens. And this player, Brad Marchand, decides I have to be there to help. I have been around every type of athlete. I've been around good ones, bad ones, brilliant ones, morons, intelligent, stupid, careless, caring. I've been around them all. I've never met an athlete that has such concern about what goes on off the playing surface than I have hockey players. They are family. They are a big family. They were brought up in families. Mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents, everybody involved in being there at the practices, helping these kids live their dream. There's no other sport that has that dedication, that level of dedication. None. They don't think about the money. They don't think about one day becoming an NBA star or an NFL star or playing or becoming a star in Major League Baseball. Yeah, they want to play in the NHL, but it's not about the money. It's about the game. And it's about the relationships that you have in that game. Did you see that interview that Marchand did? Behind him, there was a team coming off the ice. And there was a kid. Kid's probably a son of somebody. Maybe he's an equipment trainer's kid, whatever. But he's there, and he's fist bumping the players as they come off the ice. And the players do it. You see a lot of that at games where there's kids who'll be there. They'll be leaning down their hands just to get a slap from the glove. And they get it. The players will do it. Because they realize that those kids, those fans, are important to the game. Not to them, but to the game, to the sport, to the legends that are created there. I'm not saying there's players who wouldn't go help their friend. I'm not saying that Brad Marchand is the only guy who would do that when somebody's child dies, that he would take time out of his season, his job, to go help them. I'm not saying that. But I see it more in hockey players. And that's why I am, as a guy who's been covering sports his entire adult life, I am in awe of the wonderful people that hockey players are and what they mean to their families and to the game. NBA players could learn a lesson from people who are dedicated to the respect of the game first. You want to go ahead and get a hold of me? Don't forget, a couple of ways to do it. We have the show right here on YouTube that's on. Make sure you go to the comments section. I check every single day. I answer every comment that comes in, so make sure you get in there if you want to drop a comment about anything in the show. If you want to make sure you get us on YouTube, it's at The Fastest Show in Sports. You watch us there. I'm on Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok under Berliner Speaks, also on Substack at Ed Berliner, and also on the audio platforms. If you go search out Fastest Show in Sports, you can listen to the show for Apple, iTunes, any of the major platforms. We are there. Please listen to the show. Enjoy it. Tell me what you like and what you don't like, and let's go ahead and get you to subscribe, and make sure you pass it on to about 5 million of your closest friends. Isn't that what they do on all these YouTube videos? They make sure to ask people to subscribe. Subscribe! If you're watching on YouTube, hit the button and join us. Thanks so much, everybody. For all of us here at the Fastest Show in Sports and Fuzzy Dogs Productions, I'm Ed Berliner. Rock on, true believers. See ya!
Ed Berliner, the fastest fastest show in sports.